I came from an international school and a good background too. A lot of people would say you only got here because you had a silver spoon. Would you say the same, or it's entirely irrelevant to your experience?
Do you want to hear like a formal response, or do you want to hear like a genuine but slightly politically incorrect response?
Yeah, we're hearing it.
I would argue to say to a certain extent, yes. The reason being, I think we're very blessed. We're very fortunate. And this is our asset in a way. And it really depends on how you use it. So I'm going to give an example. So this is hugely politically incorrect. For example, models. They leverage their good look in order to be a model. Basketball player, they leverage their height to play on the field. People who are rich, they leverage the money, the asset they have, the background they have, the connection they have to build the things, leveraging the assets they have. So similarly, like people who are intelligent, very intellectual, who are very sharp, who are very good at numbers, they leverage that in exams. So I think in like the world is unfair but fair at the same time. So everyone's different. That's why it's so wonderful, because smart people can leverage their intelligence. This is hugely politically incorrect, but good-looking people can also leverage their good look as well. So I think I'm fortunate to come from a background whereby I don't have to worry about my financial every single day, so that I can actually go and do what I want to do wholeheartedly. Of course, people are going to say, oh, it's because you're lucky. It's because you don't have to worry about paying rent and stuff. Yes, it is. So I know what I want. I know what I want to do. And I know that money to me is not the most important thing in my life. I've got friends who are earning, I don't know what, like 150K per month or 200K per month as a lawyer. I earn one tenth of the rent of the salary, or even I don't know, 1/15th. But I'm very happy. I know what I want. Yeah. So
What do you?
I think in terms of what I want is I want to go through the journey. I want to experience it. Right. So rather than having an end goal, because I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek, started with why, that golden circle. So basically everything starts with the notion of why before you think of what and how. Right. So what is working as a lawyer. My previous how is just be a high achiever, man. Just get all the degrees, all the certificates, get into MBA, whatnot. But for me right now, I think like my why is basically to enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. As part of entrepreneurship, I think the beauty of that is you get to iterate any point in time. So for example, let's say Genie Friends right now, we're working on a secret dinner, but who knows, maybe 3 months down the line, we're going to work on, let's say, I don't know, a conference at Expo in Wan Chai, or we're going to work on, let's say, building a software for people to use for event organization, or God knows, we're going to throw a massive pool party at one of the mansions in Hong Kong. Like, no one really knows. And that's the beauty of entrepreneurship, I think. But it's very uncertain. So I get that anxiety.
I would say I was very lucky because my parents were very supportive. What was the conversation like with your family and your friends leaving such a good resume on the table to walk into entrepreneurship? I
think for my family, they're very supportive. There's only one thing that they say. They're like, okay, as long as you're happy, we're happy. I think I'm very blessed. So when you ask me a question of whether I'm very blessed, or in your phrase, what was it? The silver spoon? Yeah,
the silver spoon.
Yeah, silver spoon. So I think yes, to a certain extent, because I got that love for my family. Not everyone gets that. So I think I'm very privileged to get that. And they don't care about the money I make. They don't care about whether I can pay my rent. They don't care about what job, the prestige that I get from my job. All they care about is whether I'm happy or not. It actually fills me a lot, honestly.
Right. Yeah. I remembered my family cut off my credit card at a very early age. Oh, no. And that's what fueled a lot of entrepreneurship.
Really?
What's some untold story about your upbringing that you think has affected the entire journey from King's College to lawyer to now?
I'm going to go a little bit even earlier in the stage of my life.
Perfect.
Sounding as if I'm very old. I'm only 30-something. But anyway, I think at the very beginning, so I was brought up mostly by my grandparents. And my grandparents actually went through war, came to Hong Kong. And then I think they have the concept of being, you can't rely on anything. You can't rely on any religion. You can't rely on any concept.
Right.
You can't rely on anyone out there. All you can rely on is yourself. And reliance basically means how much things that you can achieve in your life. So it was a conditional love that I get from them. So basically they would say, okay, you do this, you get 100 points I get 100 points in that exam, I'm going to buy you sweet, I'm going to treat you ice cream or whatever. Otherwise, you don't get that. So I think from a very early stage, I'm always someone who grind very hard, who wants to achieve a lot of things, not because I want to do it, it's because of fear of rejection. Isolation from the lack of love for my parents, grandparents in that case, yeah.
I always believe that our experiences stack up. What is the thing that you have learned being in school and being a lawyer in terms of mentality or experiences that has contributed to your success today?
First of all, I wouldn't say success because we're still going through it the pretty hard way, I would say. But I would agree to you that everything actually lines up, everything builds up to form who you are today. For example, back then, my legal training allows me to be, if you're into MBTI, it trains you into more of a J person in that regards. Basically allows me to get more organized than an average person and to execute things better than an average person again. So I guess everything just adds up. And also my experience with Genie Friends allow me to actually have more capability to talk to people at different occasions because I'm a massive introvert myself. So a lot of people even ask me like, dude, what the hell are you doing? You're a massive introvert. You're doing the most extreme extroverted business in the world, which is community business. So what the hell are you doing? But I think everything comes for a reason. I actually really enjoy knowing new people. Like I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you, but for this Genie Friends project, right? So I'm actually very grateful for that. Yeah.
Perfect. I left a 6-figure job to starting my entrepreneurship. What was that transition like, leaving a stable paid job into Genie Friends and starting entrepreneurship? What's the biggest challenge you have faced, maybe externally and maybe internally?
I think externally and internally are the same thing eventually. Okay. It boils down to one word, and that's ego. The reason being,
wow,
honestly, again, I'm saying this because somehow probably I'm very fortunate enough to say that, but we're not gonna get starved to death. Honestly, we're not gonna sleep on the street for us. So I think, of course, Hong Kong is a hugely capitalistic society. So in order to say that, there has to be some sort of safety net for me to get already. But I must say that actually, whatever you do or whatever job, being a lawyer or accountant or a doctor or just like a business owner of a small business, like a coffee shop around the corner of, I don't know, Outlet Zao, or let's say if you're the business owner, the CEO of a chain restaurant, whatever, it's all the same. It all boils down to the one same thing which is whether you feel accomplished in your life, whether it fulfills what you want. So it goes back to the question of why, right? If your why is, I don't care, I want to earn $1 million per year or $100 million in my lifetime, whatever, then you're probably going to have a pretty hard time to satisfy your own ego. Long story short, I just think everything boils down to ego. And as long as I have to, correct is not the main word, but as long as I have my preferred perspective, then changing job from corporate to entrepreneurship isn't actually that challenging.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it not scary? Because you're leaving something that's stable.
It is quite scary too. Again, I think it goes down to the notion of ego and also your perspective. So what is stable? What is certainty? I have the strong belief that working at a corporate job doesn't mean that it's more stable. It only means that you're outsourcing your decision making for your own life and for the rest of your life to someone out there. That's it. Like you feel that it's more safe because you don't see that. You don't see it. You don't feel the problem. You feel like you're safer, but that's not the case. I think the case is you just outsource your decision making for your life to your boss, to your company. That's it.
Wow. And that's what's working. That's how you define a corporate life.
I think the nature of corporate life is that you get a sense of security from outsourcing your decision making or your risk appetite to someone out there in a way. Because by nature, I think by nature, salary is in a way like a compensation for outsourcing your decision making to someone out there. And they're paying you in return a sense of security.
With everything you've been through, what is one of the hardest things or toughest experience that you've been through?
I think the tough experience is from time to time, sometimes we would have some arguments within the team. And I'd say sometimes it's constructive, but sometimes it actually drains our energy and occupies our headspace and it pulls our business from the right direction. It's actually quite hard because I think I came to the observation now that I've been working on Genie Friends for 2 years that the core thing about entrepreneurship is probably not the project itself, but the number one thing about entrepreneurship is actually who you're working with. Whether you're working by yourself, solopreneur, or if it's a team of 2, 3 founders or 4 founders, and whether you guys get along, whether it's good chemistry or bad chemistry, I think people is the most important factor. That's it. Whatever you build, be it a bubble tea business or AI tool or a coffee shop or a software, nothing really matters. What matters is actually the people that come with you.
Do you think entrepreneurship is harder than being a lawyer, harder than going through school? Because a lot of people view being a lawyer very hard.
Well, honestly, I must say being a lawyer is very hard because for me personally, I don't think I'm a good lawyer in any way. So I think hard and easy in different sense, because hard in a way that you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.